You're watching the countdown. The market's holding.
Still holding strong for the markets. Let's get you one more perspective going. Mehraboon Irani, Vice President PMS at Centrum Broking, joins us with his thoughts. Mehraboon, afternoon. Thanks so much for joining in. What are you reading into this rally that we've seen over the last 4 days or so, the pullback yesterday and the continuation today? Have we seen an intermediate bottom and now we're pretty much building on that, or do you think that this will become a sell on rise kind of a rally?
Rahul, I think last week in a specific question which your colleague Mini had asked me, I had mentioned that maybe a week later or 2 weeks later we would be both smiling and saying that, well, for all you know, we would be heading for the 15,000 mark, something which not many would believe. I state the same thing which I said last week, that nobody amongst us is going to be able to state for sure as to where we are going to stop on the lower side. Yes, it's possible that this could be a rally, but allow me to state the values at which we were, especially some of the scripts, I think were at levels lower than what the levels should have been, deservedly at below 10,000 levels. So I think if you look at many of the scripts, Rahul, they are given returns of 20-25% from their lower levels, because the fact that the base has come down. A script at 150 available now at 80, 80 becoming 98, in a matter of few days we are making 20% return. I personally feel it's a lovely market.
Right.
Mehraboon,
how are we? Yeah, good. Mehraboon, how are we going into this earnings season according to you? One, of course, on expectation levels, because that's really low. And the second, on valuation parameters. Is there a room on the upside for any kind of positives?
See, if you look at the index angle again, the valuation wise, I think 12,500, 13,000 levels by all parameters. I think India is fairly valued, perfectly valued, I think. And there was not too much of room for downside. But market being abnormal at times, behaving abnormal at times, we could possibly see lower levels. The fact is, if we start looking at the indices, we are not going to make money in this market. On the higher side, we were talking of levels, we went wrong, all resistances were crossed. On the lower side, we went on talking of supports got broken. What I was saying, and Mini, I think that is exactly what you're asking. Quite a few shares have come down to levels which are absolutely juicy, attractive. People should just go ahead and buy. And all those who have bought are possibly smiling, because in the last 7-10 days, quite a few scripts have given fantastic returns. I think I was expecting, and I'm still expecting, June quarter results to be quite good. And the skeptics amongst us, the prophets of doom, are going to say that September quarter results, there will be margin pressure. December, who is saying margin pressure will not be there? But what I am trying to state is some stocks, especially some sectors, and some stocks within those sectors, I think are relatively immune to most of the risks which are facing us. And those risks are for real. Those risks are going to continue for some time, whether it's oil, whether it's inflation, whether it's interest rate, what RBI is going to do next. We all know about these concerns. The fact is there are some stocks which have come down to levels and which are relatively immune. Those stocks deserved attention, and all those who bought into them possibly are smiling today.
Right.
And unfortunately, the typical behavior of market manners at lower levels, after losing 25 to 50% of their wealth in the last 6 months, people are saying, any rally I will be selling. And today when the market rallies, people are saying, should I go ahead and buy more? That is typical market behavior.
Right. Mehraboon, in your portfolio management services, what are the sectors, the segments or stocks that you are accumulating on or recommending to your clients?
Well, actually, honestly, we are avoiding rate sensitives even now, because in portfolio management services where we handle funds of investors, it's not fair to just go in for short-term trading. So the high beta stocks possibly are out. Traders can go ahead and make their money. In portfolio management, don't believe in doing absolutely short-term trading, but we are buying selectively into sectors. If you're asking me to name sectors, it's pharma sector. There are companies like Orchid, Glenmark. They are there in our portfolios. We are buying into shipping sector stocks like Norcator Lines. We are buying into IT product companies like Geodesic. We are buying into, now we are just recently started buying into the transformer companies like Bharat Bijli and Voltem, which according to me are available at 6, 7, 8 Ps. I don't think you're going to get it any cheaper than that.
Right, Mehraboon, hold that thought. Trending towards the high point of the day. We'll head into a break. We'll come back. Mehraboon stays on with us.
Ending pretty much towards the highs of the day. If we can get you the intraday graph of the Nifty and the Sensex, it will show you that we've pretty much been on course through the course of the day up, and we are currently at about 4162. Still with us, Mehraboon Irani, Vice President, the Portfolio Management Services at Centrum Broking. Mehraboon, you were talking about a couple of sectors that you would be looking at accumulating for your clients right now, and IT was part of that. Of course, we have the big numbers coming out this week with Infosys leading the way. What's your own assessment of what the outlook could be from here on, and what would you be playing for here?
Well, IT heavyweights, if you're asking me, I think the guidance should be quite decent. But the fact is, over the last 2.5 months, the stocks have performed relatively much better than the overall market. So I personally feel that there is not too much of money to be made in the IT heavyweights. There are those selective stocks in the IT products category where I personally feel there are opportunities available. Another sector which we are looking at, since many were asking me, is steel. I think Tata Steel yesterday, we bought into that counter. There is a full disclosure over here. And I feel 630, 635, 640 were getting the stock yesterday was a level at which I don't think you're going to regret some months later that you bought the stock at this particular level. So there are a whole lot of opportunities in this market. The fact is, if we are too concerned as to how much further we will fall, I don't think you're going to take advantage of the opportune market presence itself with. There are going to be downgrades. It's going to be difficult to make money in this market, but there are opportunities. And even if we move between 12 and 17,000, like what I mentioned to you last week, a full 5,000 points, I think money making is going to be very much possible. And the market, since you're asking me about the quarterly results, I think companies which are going to announce good results, allow me to state, meaning I think they are going to be very well rewarded by the market, the stocks, because every stock in this market had taken a beating when we fell from 21,000 to 15,000, but 15 to 13, 12,800 when we fell, some of those stocks refused to fall any further. The market bet was indicating that. So wherever we go from here in terms of the indices, not everything is going to go up if we go up, and not everything is going to fall if the indices fall. There are opportunities.
Right, Mehraboon, it's very easy to give blanket summations on sectors like IT, but because you've raised the fact that it's not going to be a one-way street, within the IT pack, they are the big boys and they are the smaller companies dependent on one or two big clients. And we are seeing a lot of pressure points out there because we've had management after management from the mid-cap IT space saying that 2008 is not looking like a good year. Many of them have also got the direction of the rupee wrong. So would you be sifting through the IT pack, Mehraboon, and what is looking as the pressure points for you?
I think there are concern areas, I think many, but the market has possibly discounted it quite well. I would put it that way. I think, yes, I have also heard some management expressing a little bit of apprehension that this year is going to be a little bit difficult. But the fact is the Indian IT story is very much intact. These concerns are there for real, are very much there. But managements whom we meet, companies which we understand well, we are in touch with the managements and which we feel the business model is quite intact. And where I don't think there is going to be any sort of slowdown in terms of the orders or in terms of any other thing, in terms of any pressure on the margins, in terms of billing revenues and all those things. I think we are quite comfortable holding on to the shares, and this market, the volatility which we have seen, we are using it to our advantage. A typical case would be companies like a Tanla Solutions or a company like Geodesic, which allow me to say not many in this market would possibly be following very closely, but if you look at the share price movements, I think we were quite comfortable at the levels at which we added on to it. We are not trying to say that we bought at the lowest level, but the things which we had bought at a higher level, at levels at which they were available just a few days ago, we felt it was time enough to average onto it, and we used a sharp rise, a 15-20% movement with the scripts are given in the last few days. We have used it to our advantage and exited also and brought down our cost of holding. I think that is exactly the strategy which we are employing for PMS right now. Scripts where we are comfortable, we are adding more at lower levels, and the market, I'm quite sure, is going to give you opportunities to exit from those lower levels, making a decent profit and bringing down your cost of holding.
Mehraboon, what's your call on Reliance Communication as a stock right now? I know you have a view and a very strong one of that on the telecommunication space, but with the latest developments?
Still, I would say a little bit negative. I think, Rahul, all the big acquisitions, all the big mergers, all whatever has taken place in virtually all industries, the market has not rewarded them, at least not in terms of the stock price performance. Telecommunication as a space, I'm a little bit negative. I feel there is going to be pressure on margins, and whatever is happening on this particular front, honestly, Rahul, I wouldn't like to comment, because beyond what you and I know, I think there is a lot of other things which may end up happening. But as a whole, on the whole, this particular sector, frankly, is a clear-cut no as of now from me, and Reliance Communication is no exception.